So, Baby Watch 2018, I was jokingly talking about earlier today of starting videos because we had a doctor's appointment. We're a week away from our official due date, and we had zero signs of anything for labor or, I mean, anything. So we're basically assuming she's gonna be late, which is, I guess, pretty common for your first child, which was gonna put us like right at Christmas and a bunch of other stuff. Had a big conversation today at the doctor's office about it, and I was at work just a little bit ago, which you'll probably see in part of one of my patrol vlogs, because I started filming, and I get a phone call that her water broke. So I had to dump my Recruit off on somebody else, hopped in the car, headed home. I'm home now. She's out with her best friend taking a walk. We just have to be to the hospital within the next couple of hours. So I'm gathering up all of our stuff, our bag. I'm getting together my camera gear because we're gonna film as much of it as we can and bring you guys along. So Baby Watch 2018 has officially commenced.
I didn't get the pack out.
Ready to have a baby?
Working out inside.
This is our emotional support animal. Her name is Morgan.
Animal, you're an animal.
We already have it.
Did you want your drink?
No.
I have my water.
She has hers.
Oh.
That's something
Sure,
else.
I'll bring it.
Yes. Do you have your car keys? Oh, they're in my pocket. I'm an idiot. Ah, no problem. We got settled in our room here. The past probably hour and a half to two maybe has just been all the rounds of nurses coming in and, you know, hooking her up to like the little monitor and signing consent forms. We've done that like 3 times, just like paperwork upon paperwork of signing things. So the contractions have been coming and going. They're a little, I don't want to say sporadic. How often are they happening right now?
I can't even tell you. It was 8 minutes and then it just stopped.
Okay.
Like every half an hour.
How do they feel?
I mean, they hurt. They don't feel good.
Are we still going for all natural?
No, I don't know about that. I don't know how people are so confident that they're gonna be fine. They're gonna get through it. I don't know, it just depends. It just depends.
So for those of you who don't know, which I guess we haven't really talked about it a whole lot, one of the original plans for this pregnancy was to do it absolutely as natural as possible. We'd even toyed with an idea of a water birth at one point. Now this is her. This has been her deal. Obviously, it's her body. It's how she wants to do it. I'm supportive of whatever she wants to do. Basically, the agreement was just that. As long as everyone is safe, as long as she's safe, as long as the baby's safe, she's willing. She could do whatever she wants to do. So that's the goal. That's what we're trying to do. And as of right now, that's where we're still at. So we are going to keep you guys posted. Now, to backtrack where we are right now, her water broke at around 4:15 today. Few contractions started at about 6 p.m. give or take, and then we started getting everything together, which we pretty much had everything fairly ready to go at the house, but we packed up the suitcase, all the stuff, came to the hospital, and it is what time right now? It is 11:05 p.m. And the pain's not unbearable. Like I said, some of the contractions are coming and going, and we're gonna see where we make it, but they're not thinking it's gonna be anything until the morning, early morning. So next round of nurses are here, so I will fill you guys in soon.
Everywhere.
So it's not pleasant.
Oh my gosh. This is awesome.
As far as we know, this isn't even.
It makes you like your whole body like just like that curl up and die feeling. I have never felt anything like this.
And we're thinking this isn't even the true labor contractions, right?
No, that's what they're saying. I literally almost threw up. So much for the high pain.
You're still pushing through it.
Oh, it's close.
Yeah. Alright. So, I've obviously been around her for many years, and she does have a very high pain tolerance, and so that was bad. I didn't film all of it, but to hear her and see the look on her, like it's hardcore. So it is 3 a.m., almost 3 a.m. right now. We ended up getting the epidural. She ended up getting the epidural. It got intense, like really intense. I've obviously never seen her in that much pain before. It's horrible because obviously somebody you care about, to see them, you know, in that much agony, and there's just absolutely nothing you can do for them, sucked. So fortunately she is sound asleep right now. I'm actually going to do the same thing. They're going to be coming in every hour, I think. They said hour and a half, to check on a few things. One of the other issues that we ran into is she had pretty high blood pressure here at the end, which she did not normally. It wasn't like an ongoing thing, but it's something that came up here at the end. So they had to give her some additional medication for that, for the safety of her and the baby. So actually after delivery, they just told us that she's going to have to remain on bed rest or in bed for 24 hours after delivery. So we're going to be here for a little bit, but that's where things stand. Everything's going good, and I will update you soon. Ready for a little update? Where are we at?
I'm super dizzy.
Have we started pushing?
Yeah.
Officially? There's a baby coming.
Hopefully. Get this medicine out of my system. It makes me feel like crap.
I know. Hey everybody, what's going on? So here's the next update. It is, well, I think I left off with you guys about 3 in the morning or so. So technically it's still the same day, but it's 11 p.m. that night. So first and foremost, we have a baby girl now. So that's pretty amazing. And obviously there's a gap in the last time that I talked to you guys, but they have a certain amount of rules here. We couldn't film during the actual delivery, and so I was there bedside for that entire portion, along with her best friend Morgan, who was amazing. So the actual labor went very well. Obviously, like we mentioned last night, the original plan of being completely 100% natural didn't go according to plan, and not for a bad thing. Obviously Alicia tried. She was a trooper. I mean, it's the most pain I've ever seen her in my life. It just, like, it's something you really can't describe. I mean, even she was having a hard time putting it into words. But before any women watching this completely freak out, because obviously one of the ideas of us making this video is for it to be out there for people in similar situations to us to watch and, you know, get a baseline. It's one of the things I enjoy about being a YouTuber that I've told all you guys, even with the patrol stuff or anything, is that, you know, to try and teach, to put something on a platform that people can learn from and experience through others' experiences. Anyway, because I know one of the things when I want to learn something, the first thing I do is I come here and I look for stuff. So, and it's always been helpful to me. So hopefully I can put out something that helps other people. So if that's the case, give this a thumbs up. I appreciate that. And if you have any questions, put them in the comments below, and either myself or Alicia will get back to you, and we'll try and, you know, answer them if you're getting ready to go through this process. So anyway, back to what I was saying. So one of the things that we learned from this is, because her water broke first, the contractions that she had in the beginning were apparently 10 times worse than they would have been if the water was still intact. They said it acts almost like a bit of a cushion or a barrier, and that's why there are a lot of women who can do natural births and it's not as bad. I think it's still very painful, but from what we were told was basically, don't feel bad. Very few people could go through that, and that's something that we didn't know in the beginning. We didn't know how that worked, because obviously a lot of people, you know, what's the first thing you think of when you think of pregnancy? Oh my God, my water broke. And, you know, from TV and movies, they portray it that way, and that actually is not what happens the majority of the time. But that's what happened for us, so that's why we had to go the route that we did. The epidural worked. She was obviously very nervous about that. So for any of the women out there who've heard the horror stories, look, my advice would be just like anything in life, you can find a horror story about every situation known to man. So normally it's not going to happen. And it was something that we were both concerned about. It was something Alicia was worried about. However, when it came time for the process, it could not have been smoother. The nurse anesthetist was great. It went off without a hitch. It was perfect. It didn't hurt. And it worked almost immediately. So that was very, very fortunate for her. Now, what ends up happening during the actual push process, let's say, because she was in labor for a while, but when we got down to the nitty gritty, the actual pushes, where the baby was coming out, we could start to see the head, that the epidural starts to wear off a little bit, and they recommend not pushing the little button to get more of it, and that way you can feel it and know what you're doing, and the pain actually motivates you to get that little sucker out of there. So we did real well. Where were we at? Like, I think 50 minutes is what we were told. So when we actually got to the hardcore pushing, it was a 50-minute process to get her out.
Yeah.
So how's...
Well, the problem is my blood pressure was high. So that medication and then the Pitocin, which makes you have contractions, contradicted each other. So that on top of the epidural, my contractions would start and then stop and then start and then stop. And so I had to stop giving myself any pain relief. And that's what sucks so bad. But I mean, I think in the end, there was really no other way around it because my blood pressure was high and I had to have that medication and I had to have the Pitocin to get the contractions going. So, what was your question? This is my life.
Because of the way things happen, again, for what they are telling us, technically her body wasn't really quite ready to go into labor. But when the water breaks, it basically put a 24-hour window on it that you have to give birth within that time, because then you open up a lot more opportunities for infection for the baby because they're not protected anymore. So that's what Alicia was talking about. Pitocin is a drug that they give to make the contractions come more frequently and more intense. But because of the high blood pressure, the medication that she was on, magnesium, they call it MAG, is actually a relaxant. So for people with anxiety or anything like that, the idea is to hit those receptors and calm everything down and lower it, but then the Pitocin jacks it back up to get the contractions going. So that's where your body like gets into this little tug of war thing, and so that's something that she had to deal with during that time. But overall, it did go very smoothly. We have a healthy baby girl from it. I feel like we'll do another video if you guys are interested. If there's anybody out there watching this that wants to know some more details, like I said, ask the questions below. And I think probably when we both have a little bit of a clearer head, we'll sit down and maybe walk through the process start to finish a little bit more and in detail and try to cover all those things, because I know I'm a little scatterbrained right now. We've been here for 32 hours, I think, at this point. I'm still in the same clothes. I literally just have a sweatshirt over the clothes that I was already wearing, because she's keeping it at 65 degrees in the room, because that's another thing, that medication, the MAG, apparently increases your body temperature, or at least the way you feel. So I mean, she's like practically naked right now. I've got like 4 layers of clothes on and like a fuzzy blanket, and I'm freezing. So it's super, super cold in here. Anyway, in the second video, we'll do a follow-up to this and we'll show you a little bit more of Miss Emma Lynn and talk about that. We unfortunately don't have her right now, because after about 2 hours in the room, one of the nurses noticed she had a little bit of labored breathing, had a little bit of fluid she was spitting up. So long story short, we'll get into it later, they ended up taking her to the NICU. That's where she is right now. So they're saying at least 48 hours she's gonna have to be there. And the poor little thing, she has a little feeding tube in her mouth and IVs, and you know, hooked up to all this stuff and under a little warmer because her body temperature had dropped a little bit. But they did say everything should be fine. It's not anything to really be concerned about. And so, you know, thank goodness we're in the hospital. We had the baby in this capacity. They were able to see that and address it immediately. So to all the folks at Baycare, they've done an amazing job I couldn't be happier with this facility and our experience here. So props to them. It's really, really cool. So right now we're going to take the opportunity we have to relax, unwind a little bit. I'll catch you guys up soon. So again, I hope you enjoyed this. If you got something from it, give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions, comments, leave them below. I read all of them. I try to get back to everybody that I can. For those of you who already follow me on Instagram, you know I've done some posting there. There's been a couple pictures, and you guys have been amazing. You always are. The mobsters are the greatest fans ever. I just cannot thank you enough for the kind words and wishes that you've given both me and Alicia. I read a bunch of the comments to her, passed them along. We're both very grateful and thankful for your support and everything that you guys give back to this channel the way you do. So thank you guys. I love you. We'll talk to you soon. And I promise, the patrol vlog is in the works. The chief got back from his conference. I actually was getting ready to send it to him when she called me and told me her water broke. So that is coming out soon. Bear with me. We got a lot going on, but I have not forgotten about you guys. It will be out soon. So until then, take care of yourselves, and we'll see you soon.